1965, 02, 22. Dearest Suzie, I received your letter yesterday saying that you and Brett had been sick, and I was pretty sorry to hear it. I'm glad you are over it now. I hope Brian enjoyed his birthday. I didn't forget it, but I couldn't get him anything anyway. But I promise I will make up to all three of them when I get home. I'm sure that by now you must have received your ring. Does it fit all right, and do you like it? I still haven't got that camera back yet. I'm afraid that they are sending it regular mail. If they are, it will be a couple of months before I get it. I got another letter from your mother yesterday. She sent me $5 and told me to send her another souvenir if I could find something she liked or else buy cigarettes with it. She mentioned before that she would like to have one of those musical jewelry boxes, so if they ever put town back on limits, I'll get her one of them. I haven't been overworked lately, but the pressure over here is terrible right now. We went on a troop lift yesterday. We only flew 2 hours all day, but we ran into a mess of VC in one area and got 2 aircraft shot up. No one was hurt, though. And of course, since all the trouble up north, we have been on alert down here. We have at least 2 gunships up all the time, and our mortar fires continuously at night and makes it almost impossible to sleep. But we are surviving, and just think we only have 6 months and 35 days left. I love you all and miss you very much. Sincerely, Bill. The episode today will hopefully be brief. Today is a big day for me. It's my wedding day. On an occasion such as this, I like to reflect on things. In the context of this show, is there a lot to reflect on even? Well, if I compare myself to my grandfather, we are seemingly 2 drastically different people. At 28, I'm getting married. He was married 9 years before that. I have no kids. He had 3 and another within 4 years of returning home from Vietnam. I've spent most of my adult life at college. He spent most of his up to this point in the military, on a base, doing some sort of training or exercise. I'm not a pilot and can barely drive a car for that matter. He was in one of the first warrant officer classes for helicopter pilots. I don't have much money. Poppy, on the other hand, well, maybe we are more similar than I thought. All jokes aside, how are he and I the same? Well, his letters tell me that although he's strong, he's also fragile. He sees things that nearly break him completely while in Vietnam. The older I get, the more fragile I realize I truly am. As I've noted before, when I was doing fieldwork for my PhD, I had a gun pointed at me that I didn't see. Just knowing that has really been hard for me to deal with. At this point, Poppy has gotten fired at regularly in his 5 months overseas. He's been around mortar fire and rockets and so much more. When I think about things in those terms, comparing who I am and where I'm at mentally and emotionally to him, I really start to understand why he was the person he was when he got back. He's already noted a few times why he's turned to alcohol to cope with his experiences. Meanwhile, I joke with my friends about how I completed my comprehensive exams for my master's degree while drunk because it was easier to write that way and fight off the anxiety of the task at hand. I know it wasn't healthy, but I did it. He had a thirst for knowledge and was, according to Meemaw, an avid reader. He loved his parents and siblings, but was trying to do better for himself and his family. He liked teaching people around him. He loved to take photographs. He was clever and ambitious and analytical and straightforward. These are all things I'd like to think I got from him. I inherited. But can personality traits even be inherited, or are those learned? Would he have even taught me those things himself if they were learned? What I'm trying to say, in less space than in Finding My Grief, is that if I take a moment to reflect on things, this work has helped me understand who he was as a person and who I am. It's helped me relate to him, even though he's been dead for over 12 years. I'd like to think that those things that made him him, whether they be in material form through his letters and photographs or through his spirit, through his personality and character traits, are the things that I have lived on through me and my dad and my brother and the rest of my family. I have a friend who is a pharmacist, and I was talking to him about the COVID vaccine a few years ago. I was worried about the side effects. His response was, a good thing you get from a drug is also a side effect. You can't get the good ones without some bad. You just have to hope that there's more good than bad. Perhaps that's the same for the things we inherit from our family, that we adopt from our friends. We'll get good and bad. You just have to hope that, after everything is said and done, you got more of the good of Poppy than the bad. I like to think I did. Either way, this is obviously pre-recorded. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, I appreciate your time and interest. If there are any family or friends listening to this, either on the day it's posted or any time after that, please know that I love you all very much. This experience has been a blessing. I can't imagine Poppy would have said the same about Vietnam, but at least I can say that about getting the opportunity to present his letters. The photo I chose for today appears to be taken in the middle of an early morning troop lift. It is blurry, perhaps taken in a hurry. It is dreamlike in nature. The colors are muted, faces are unclear, helicopters are barely hovering in the air in frame. It's one of my favorites. I'm Alex Lowie, and I hope you have enjoyed listening to this episode of Dearest Suzie, and receiving messages from the past that my Poppy wrote exactly 60 years ago. I sincerely appreciate your time and interest. Please consider following the podcast on your preferred platform, and if you're enjoying it, I kindly ask that you take the time to rate the show and leave a review. Also, please follow the project on YouTube, X, and Instagram. All likes, comments, shares, and reviews will help grow the reach of this story. The links for these things should be in the description of this episode. Please feel free to email me at dearestsuziepodcast@gmail.com if you have anything you'd like to say. I'd love to chat or to hear about your stories as well. Thank you for listening, and God bless.